Brilliant. Well, lovely to see you all on this rather dreary Wednesday evening. But let's make a start. So if you want to come onto your mats and just, I'll stay seated for a moment, but if you want to lie yourself down, maybe have a little massage out through your back, giving your knees a squeeze and making whatever movement feels comfortable. Sometimes it's quite nice to have a little soothing rock side to side because you're really stretching out through the lower back just by bringing your knees in towards your chest. Sometimes just to round up into a little ball, bringing your nose towards your knees, you're stretching through the upper back as well, and just kind of linger there for a moment, hugging everything in. So take your time, kind of decompress through the lower back. We tend to get quite compressed there as the day progresses. And then just bring your feet down to the floor. We'll keep the feet on the floor to begin with, again, just to release some space in the back. You can always widen your feet and allow your knees to knock together. And just for the purpose of the class, just bring one hand to rest on your belly. If you want to bring the other onto your chest, feel free, or both hands just down onto your lower belly. Closing the eyes. And I was listening to a TED Talk with Brené Brown earlier this week, and she kind of summed up maybe how a lot of us might describe ourselves at this point in time. And she talked about the wearied, worried well. And we might fall into that category at the moment, I think, as this period of isolation and lockdown has continued in some shape or form. It's becoming quite wearisome. It's kind of the novelty maybe has worn off. Maybe the weather's not quite as nice as it was a few weeks ago. We might be worried. That's adding to that sense of weariness. And maybe those good intentions we had at the beginning of this period to exercise regularly, eat well, go for a walk, take up something new, blow the dust off all of those books you were planning to read, has kind of fallen by the wayside. And that's when yoga can offer us a little bit of guidance and help to keep us on track and positive, both on and off the mat, by offering the discipline of tapas. And tapas literally translates as discipline, commitment. And maybe that's what we need to dig deep and re-find, rediscover, that sense of discipline. You show that every week, that commitment, that discipline, by showing up to the practice. And that discipline needs a little bit of inner fire. Another translation of the word tapas is indeed fire. And that's why we have our hands on our bellies, our root of that inner fire. So let's begin the practice this evening. You might wish to draw your mind to an area of your life at the moment where perhaps you need to exert a little bit of discipline. And remember, discipline hasn't got to be that military sense of getting up every morning and running 10 kilometers or having a cold shower. It might be that discipline or commitment to do less, to not overfill your days. That commitment to setting some quiet time, even just 5 minutes in the midst of all of this, to sit with yourself. So just thinking whatever that phrase, that word, kind of could mean to you and your life at this stage, in this strange time that we're living in. And we'll be doing, as I said, a twist-focused class now to really tune into that centre of our fire. So let's begin to stoke that fire with some deep abdominal breaths. Now bringing the breath right down into the space beneath one or both hands resting on the belly. And as you breathe out, just begin to draw your navel back towards your spine, ever so gently. You can really feel those core muscles engage, but then as you inhale, make sure you allow those muscles to relax and open. Belly opens up into the hands, and then as you exhale, just take care you're not kind of tightening your bottom as you just draw navel down to spine. So just that movement through our core. As we do a couple more breaths like that, if it's uncomfortable with the hands resting on the belly, you can relax the arms down alongside you. You come around and face the other way. Lovely. When you've done that last round of breath, a bit of engagement through that navel center as you exhale. Just relax both arms down alongside you and allow the breath just to return back to that normal pattern without that conscious drawing of belly button to spine. Before we venture towards any twists, we need to create a little bit of length through the body. So extending one leg and then the other. Let's reach both arms all the way back above the head and just enjoy a really full and open body stretch there. You can always widen your arms if your shoulders feel a little tight today. And really lengthen both sides of the waist. You might feel arching through the back. And let's try flexing the feet initially. So pulling the toes towards your face, and you really feel the back of the body possibly begin to engage. And then just experiment pointing the toes this time. And notice the difference. I can feel the front of my body, front seam of my body getting a stretch. So have a play between those 2 points, flexing the feet, back body opening and expanding, pointing the toes away from you, front body getting a nice stretch. Let's do one more of those. Or maybe spreading the toes as you flex the feet. And then just relax the feet a little bit. Let's see if we can work alternate sides now. So stretch the right heel a little bit more energetically forwards. Reach back through the right arm. And you feel the right side of the body beginning to open. Maybe that left hip has slid up the mat towards your armpit a little bit. And then changing sides. It's like you're having a little pedal out through the feet. Left heel stretching away, reaching back through the left hand. Right hip sliding up the mat. And again, just alternate sides. Oh, it's really nice if you've spent a lot of time sitting down or on your feet and the back might be feeling a little bit compressed. Really nice to stretch it all out at the start of a practice. I'm going to do the last one on my left side, pushing the heel away. And then coming back to that full body stretch, reaching the arms back, take an inhale. This time as you exhale, just bring the right knee to your chest, giving the knee a little squeeze, either in front or behind the knee. Draw the chin down towards the chest and maybe energetically push that left heel away from you so we're feeling that nice lateral stretch across the lower back. Again, creating a sense of space. And then coming back to that full body stretch, letting go of the leg, reaching the arms back as you inhale, and then bring the left knee in as you exhale. Again, pushing the right heel away from you, making sure that the chin has stayed down towards the chest, getting a nice openness. Lovely through the low back there. Beautiful. And then coming to that full body stretch, let's see if we can work with the breath. So take an inhale in that full body stretch and exhale right knee to chest, giving it a little squeeze. And then when you're ready to inhale, coming back to that full body stretch, arms and legs extended before you change sides on an exhale. Knee coming into chest. And just working with the breath now, finding that sense of space as you inhale. As you exhale and bring the knee to the chest, you can always lift up your head and bring your nose towards your knee. Keep the shoulders away from the ears and then the head comes down as you find that full extension as you inhale. If you prefer to keep the head down tonight, that just creates a little bit too much tension again, that commitment to listen to your body, that discipline to do what your body wants rather than forcing yourself into any posture that feels uncomfortable. So I'm going to end with that left knee, giving it a little squeeze before I come back to that full body stretch out. And then keeping the head down, just bring your right knee into the chest. Beautiful. So that knee might be dropping open towards your hip a little bit. Now either keeping the left leg extended or if the back feels tight, bend your left knee, bring the foot to the floor as you hold on around the back of the right leg and take that right leg up towards the ceiling. So obviously with that left leg extended, that's going to put a little bit more stretch and possibly strain on the back. So really being kind to the back. And just mobilize through that right foot. So you might want to circle the ankle a few times each way. It's a little bit damp today, so let's just oil the joints. Pointing and flexing there. Lovely. And then relaxing the foot. You might walk your hands up a little higher, drawing that leg in a little closer. You might, again, just lift up through the head, bringing your nose towards the knee, elbow squeezed in towards that extended leg. And maybe you float that left heel off the floor. All of those are add-ons. You can always keep the head down. Lovely. If you've got that left heel extended, let's lower the leg. Bring the right knee to the chest as the head comes down, and then come back to that full body stretch, arms and legs extended. And then left knee comes in. Again, you can always re-bend that right knee, bring the foot to the floor, or keeping the leg extended. Give that knee a little squeeze. And trying to keep the left knee quite close to the chest, hold behind the leg. And let's extend the leg up towards the ceiling. So tight hamstrings, keep your hands quite low to your bottom as you just explore some movement in that left foot. The twirls, flexing and pointing. Oh, that one feels a bit stiffer than the other. Lovely. And then as you just relax the foot, you might just want to stay there, just opening up through the back of the knee, or sliding the hands above the knee joint. So avoid the knee joint, maybe lifting up, nose towards knee, and maybe hovering the right heel off the floor. All of that, again, is going to wake up a little bit of the inner fire. So try not to dome your lower belly. Again, that navel hugging down towards spine. And then lower the right heel. Bring that left knee to the chest as you lower your head. And then left foot to the floor. And slide that right leg back in. So both feet are on the floor, hip width apart. Bring the arms out shoulder height now with your palms up towards the ceiling. And keeping the feet hip width apart. Take a nice inhale, and as you exhale, allow the knees to tip to the right without moving the feet. So we're keeping the feet hip width apart, so maybe the knees don't touch the floor. Lovely, just notice where you feel that sense of twist and movement through the spine. And then on an inhale, bring the knees back through center. And keeping the feet still again. Let's take an exhale and tip the knees to the left. So you might roll to the inside and outside edge of the feet, but we're not taking the feet further apart. Lovely. Inhale through center. Exhale, let's come over to the right. You can stay there, just roll to the inside and outside edge of the feet. Or if you want a little bit more, the back feels okay, let's explore a different twist, picking up right foot and placing your right foot on your left thigh. So we're using the added weight of that right leg just to draw the left knee down. You might pick up your head and turn your head away from your knees. So we're bringing that twist right up into the neck. Now, if your back's feeling okay, you can keep that foot on your thigh. If not, bring both feet to the floor, but we'll come all the way back through center on an inhale. And then replace both feet down, hip width apart. Take a little tip over to the left and we'll pause. Feet hip width apart. And we can stay there, or this time underneath foot, left foot rests on right thigh. Try and relax that left knee down towards the floor if you're resting the foot there. Using that added weight just to bring the movement a little further up the spine, and you can always bring it right up into your neck by turning and looking over that right arm there. Lovely. As you bring the head back to center, you can always bring both feet to the floor, or keeping that ankle resting on an inhale, come all the way back through center. And as you exhale, uncross the foot. Bringing both knees into the chest now, give them a nice hug. And then hook the ankles, widen the knees, and have a little circle around with the knees there. So we're getting a nice massage across the tops of the buttocks, around the low back. Just do that a few times each way. Really nice just again to stretch it all out after that twist. We're going to come up to seated, so you can roll to one side or catch hold behind your knees and have a little playful roll up and down through the length of the spine. Got a creaky floorboard here, it's not me, it's not my bones. Coming to join me in a comfortable seated position. If you want to sit cross-legged, really doesn't matter which leg you've got in front. You can always bring your feet to the floor and hold on around the fronts of your knees if that's more comfortable there. So sitting up nice and tall, let's bring the hands around to your knees or to your shins. And just begin to use the hands against the knees to draw the chest forward. So we're adding a little arch of the back, maybe lifting your chin from your chest. Take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, navel to spine, we keep holding the knees or the shins as you round the back. So you sit towards the back of your pelvis. Inhaling, sitting forwards and up, a little arch of the back. Exhale, rocking back, chin to chest as you stretch between the shoulder blades. So it's a little seated cat-cow. So have a little play with that with the breath. Little arching as you inhale. So be a little movement across your sit bones there as you rock forwards and back. Hands just stay on the knees, a little bit of leverage there. And then find that place between those 2 points. So you're sitting up nice and tall on your sit bones, keeping your hands where they are on your shins or your knees. Take an inhale, lengthen up. And as you exhale, let's start to twist to the right and get the feeling of moving through your spine, lower back, middle back, upper back, and finally maybe your head turns. Inhale back through center. And as you exhale, we'll take that careful twist to the left. Again, that sequential wringing out through your midsection as you roll up the spine. Let's do one more each way. So the temptation is just to fling the head round. Got a lot of movement in the neck there, but less as we travel down the spine. So really see if you can get into those areas of the spine which don't have as much movement, but they still move. Important to keep the spine healthy from top to bottom. Come all the way back through center. Bring the hands behind you, plugging the fingertips into your mat. Lift the chest as you roll the shoulders back. You can lift the chin or squeeze the shoulder blades together. And then just soften the shoulders. Keep the hands where they are so you can recross your legs the opposite way. Rearranging yourself, or again, feet to floor, holding on around the knees there. Lovely. So this time let's find the length through the spine by reaching all the way up. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, bring the hands down to the heart this time, thumbs nestled in towards your breastbone. We're going to keep them there, elbows out nice and wide as you push the palms together. Take an inhale. As you exhale, let's twist to the right again. Again, that rippling movement up the spine. Inhale through center. Exhale other way. So as you keep your thumbs towards your breastbone, it's not a great rotation, it's not a great range of movement. Lovely. Let's do one more each way. So the elbows stay where they are, the arms stay still. It's just a movement initiated from your trunk. Lovely. Come back through center, bring the hands behind you, plugging fingertips into the floor. Again, lift the chest, roll the shoulders, open up. Lovely, nice breath in there. Beautiful. And then we'll find our way onto all fours. So you can place the hands down and roll over your feet, or just uncross everything, coming onto the mat, hands under shoulders, knees, underneath your hips there. So let's come into that more conventional cat-cow there, finding even more space again through the front and the back of the body. So flattening the feet, let's dip the belly, lift the tailbone, bring the chest forwards, keep pushing into your hands as you inhale. And as you exhale, try and keep your shoulders above your wrists as you round the back, getting that nice stretch between the shoulder blades. So inhale, maybe close the eyes as you stretch the chest forwards, lengthening through the belly as you inhale. And then the back body getting that lovely stretch as you exhale. Let's do one more of those, inhaling. Lovely cat-cow, finding that length. And exhale, beautiful. So we'll find that nice tabletop position now. And keeping the left hand where it is, just reach your right arm forwards, coming onto your fingertips. We'll drop down onto your left forearm. So forearm is parallel to the top of the mat. Sink your hips back and just bring your forehead to rest on that left forearm. You're getting that nice stretch through the right side of the body. I've got my elbow lifted, my forearm lifted. I'm creating that sense of space through the right side. Just take a couple of breaths there. That's a softer version of puppy pose where both arms are extended. That can be quite tough on the shoulders. And then sliding that right hand back in, coming back onto all fours. Let's take a cat-cow here to balance things out. Inhale, lift the head, lift the heart. Exhale to round. So this time take a big extension forward with left hand coming onto tented fingertips. I'm going to drop down onto my right forearm, bending it parallel to the top of the mat. Shift the weight back just so you can bring your forehead to rest on your forearm or the back of the hand. And really get the sense of plugging the left fingertips into the mat as you draw your hips back. So we're getting that nice sense of space through both sides of the waist there. Beautiful. And then sliding left hand back, just so you can come back up onto all fours. Inhale, lift the head, lift the heart. This time as you exhale and round the back, let's sit back towards your heels, making that little seat for your bottom. I'm walking both arms forwards now, so we're in a lovely extended child pose. Forehead might not touch the floor. I'm going to keep up on my tented fingertips, but if that's too much on your shoulders, you want a softer version, rest your elbows, your forearms down, and maybe bring your forehead down to the floor. If you're coming into that more energetic pose, we've got the sense of anchoring your hips towards your heels as you press your fingertips forwards and down, so I can really feel there's quite an active stretch going on through both sides of my body there. Beautiful. If you're in that nice active pose, we're really breathing into the back and the sides of the body. And then just flatten your hands. Let's come back onto all fours. Walk your hands forwards, maybe one handstand, shifting the weight forwards and slowly lowering yourself down onto your belly. And as you do so, elbows come underneath the shoulders, palms and forearms parallel into Sphinx pose. And maybe just tuck the toes of one leg under and just walk one leg back a little bit and then release the toes. And do that on the other side. So just stretch one leg and then the other back. And that instantly creates some more space across the front of my hips, across the lower back. Press down gently through your forearms and lift your chest forwards and up. Beautiful. Let's take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, take a turn of your head to look over the right shoulder. Try to keep chin parallel to the floor. Inhale through center. Exhale, let's look to the left. Come back to center. As you repeat that, you might want to bring your heel towards your bottom, so you're looking towards that incoming foot. And then relax the leg as you bring the head to center. So left heel coming to bottom as you look over left shoulder. And then back through center. So doing that once more. So if you're lifting the leg, you're flexing the foot, that heel is coming right in towards the center of your bottom. Lovely. You can always keep the leg extended and just turn the head. Beautiful. As you lower yourself down, take the elbows nice and wide. Gather your hands underneath your shoulders so you can push up onto all fours. And this time, walk your hands back towards your knees. So you're sitting up on your knees, on your heels in hero pose. Hands just in front of the knees. If that doesn't work for you, then you can always stay on all fours and do the next move from all fours. So pressing the hands gently down, just feel the shoulders slide away from the ears. And then reaching that right arm all the way up towards the ceiling. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, wrap the right hand around the low back, or you might even find the top of that left waist. Try not to sink into that left side, so draw the weight evenly through your sit bones. You can turn the head or keep the gaze down, whatever works for you. Keep pushing into that supporting hand so the chest is lifted. Lovely. And then reaching that right arm up as you inhale, big circle up. Exhale, hand comes down, other side. So inhaling, left arm lifts, we turn the chest. Exhale, hand wraps behind or even finds the top of opposite waist. And I've kind of got to lean to the right to find my waist there, but then sit back into that left sit bone. Turning through the chest. You can adjust the gaze where it feels comfortable. Lovely. And then when you're ready to release, take an inhale, just circle the arm all the way up and exhale, bring the hand down. Just shift the weight forward so you can tuck your toes under. And picking up the knees, we're going to come into a little squat position. If that's uncomfortable for your feet, just come into a forward fold with your knees bent. That's where we're going to go. If you're in that squat, it's a nice one to strengthen the feet, stretch them all out, bring the chin down towards the chest to get that nice, just like curling in on yourself, rounding through the upper and the lower back. And then keeping the knees gently bent, let's push the hips up towards the ceiling, bringing your heels down, bending the knees generously as you come into that first forward fold, allowing the body just to melt over your thighs. And if this next move is uncomfortable or difficult with your hands resting on the floor, you can bring your hands above your knees, just resting on your thighs. So keeping both knees bent, fingertips on floor or hands on thighs, let's begin to straighten the right leg and take the right arm up towards the ceiling. Left knee still bent, lovely. And see if you can push that right hip directly back behind you. Lovely. And then bending both knees, bring both hands down, either to floor or to your thighs. And then we'll take that twist to the other way. So left leg straightens, left arm lifts. And again, try and keep that left hip pushing directly back behind you. Beautiful. Then as you bring both hands down, we'll walk the hands forwards into a downward facing dog. And when you get there, have a little pedal out through the feet, stretching out through the hamstrings, maybe shake out the head there, let it all go. Beautiful. And then finding that nice sense of alignment in your downward dog. The sides of the body in line with the arms. The gaze might be between your thumbs, the middle of the mat, or between the heels, wherever feels comfortable. Bringing the left foot to the middle of the mat. Let's take an inhale and stretch the right leg all the way up behind you. And as you exhale, bring the foot between your hands, top of the mat, and lower onto that back knee. You can keep the toes tucked or flatten the foot, whatever works for you. Back of the hands trail along the mat. As you inhale, rise up, sweep the arms up. And as you exhale, open the chest, elbows draw down the back. Lovely. So inhaling, fingertips, back of hands lead the way as you inhale up. Exhale, elbows draw down towards the waist. Lovely. Once more, inhale. So again, we're creating that length before we come into a twist. So this time we'll sweep the arms up. If you can, bring the palms together and bring the hands down to the heart, just as we did at the beginning. All pushing of the palms together. Take an inhale, lengthen the spine. As you exhale, let's take a little twist towards the right. Option to stay there, or lean forwards and hook your elbow over that right thigh. Pushing the palms together, you might, some of you, bring your thumbs towards your breastbone. So we can stay there pressing the palms together. If you want a little bit more, let's try separating the arms. So reaching out through the arms. And if you feel that you've collapsed a little bit in the chest, just lift yourself up a little bit. So you're not quite so far forward, and you might find again that you can get that nice stretch between the arms and turn the chest. Beautiful. And then bring both hands to the inside of that front foot. So you can step back onto all fours. And from all fours, come into a child pose, hips to heels, arms out nice and long. As you inhale, come onto fours. And as you exhale, lower yourself down, back into that Sphinx pose, elbows snuggled underneath your shoulders, arms parallel. Now you can stay there as we repeat that little twist, or if you want a little bit more, the back feels okay, just push into your hands, lifting up the elbows and the forearms into seal pose. A little softness in the elbows. Take an inhale. Exhale, look over right shoulder. Maybe bring right heel to bottom. And as you exhale, lengthen the leg away. So we're dropping the weight into the hips as you change sides. Chest is lifted. So elbows might be down, or you might be in seal pose. If you're in seal pose, we'll do one more each way. Just make sure you're not jamming or locking the elbows. So it's a much deeper back bend, so the back feels uncomfortable, stay in Sphinx. Beautiful. Lower yourself down, widening the elbows. Push the floor away as you come up onto all fours. Lovely. Tucking the toes, walking your hands back towards your knees, and then coming into that little squat position. Chin to chest. Lovely. And then pushing the hips up towards the ceiling into that forward fold. It's allowing the body to melt forwards. And you come to the other side of the mat, so the right leg is you. We'll come back to that little twist. So bending both knees generously, fingertips to floor or hands above knees. Straightening left leg. Inhaling as you take the left arm up, pushing that hip directly back behind you. And exhale, bending both knees, hands come down. One more on the right side. So push that right hip back as you straighten the leg, reaching up. Bring the hands down. And once more, we'll pad our way forwards into downward facing dog. When we're there again, that's sending your rib cage back towards your thighs. Maybe a generous bend in the knees tonight. Lovely. And this time, right foot comes to the middle of the mat. Left leg lifts on an inhale. And as you exhale, bring the knee to the chest, rounding the back so you can step or help that left foot forward to lower the back knee. I'm going to keep my toes tucked under for tonight. That's because I feel like it. But the back of the hands just brush along the floor as you rise up into that nice lunge. Inhale. Open through the chest. Exhale. Pull the shoulder blades. Draw down the back. Lovely. Twice more. On that squeaky floorboard again. You should hear it when I'm doing my Joe Wicks in the morning. Inhale, rise up. Open the chest, exhale, ready for that little twist. So inhale, we'll sweep the arms up, bringing the palms together. As you exhale, hands draw down to the heart, breastbone, meeting thumbs. Take an inhale, and exhale, we'll twist towards the left this time. So the options to stay exactly there, or we lean forwards, elbow hooks over the left thigh this time. So fingertips point forwards, and we press the palms together, so you might be able to bring your breastbone towards your thumbs. Option to stay there, or separate the arms. You're just pressing the outside of that right arm against your thigh or your knee. Remember again, you can just bring yourself up a little bit to open through the chest. Beautiful. And then we'll bring the hands again to the inside of the front foot. So we can step back onto fours, and from all fours, last time, take that nice child pose. Balancing things out after that twist as you elongate through both sides of the body. Beautiful. And then let's come back onto all fours, tucking your toes, lifting the hips into a downward dog. And from your downward dog, have a little walk forwards, walking your feet to meet your hands into that forward fold. Beautiful. You just bring your feet and your knees together there. Bend your knees generously. And again, as you drop your hips, back of the hands, sweep the floor as you rise up into chair pose. Upper arms might be hugging the ears, or you might just extend the arms forwards, level with the shoulders. Lovely. Let's bring the hands to the heart. Take an inhale. Exhale, take a little twist to the right. Try to keep your hips and your knees level. Inhale back through center. Beautiful. Push the floor away as you rise up to stand. Reaching the arms all the way up towards the ceiling, separating the arms and maybe lifting up the heels. Squeezing your ankles and your knees together so you're not splaying the heels out to the side there. Beautiful. And then lower the heels, bend the knees, drop the hips, bring the hands down to the heart. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, take a little twist to the left. Thumbs to the heart, lovely. Come all the way back through center. All the way up into that mountain. Reaching the arms up, spreading the fingers, lifting the heels. Beautiful. And then slowly, slowly lower down. Lower the heels and bring the hands to the heart. So before we go any further, just make sure, it's always difficult when I'm zooming to know which way you're facing. So just bring yourself to one end of the mat. So when you step your right leg back and turn into a wide leg forward fold, you'll be facing me. So if that means you've got to check, I know it's confusing, guys, but there's nothing worse than kind of getting there and sort of having to wiggle around there. So much better to get the wiggling out of the way now. Beautiful. And then we'll all meet in that beautiful mountain as though none of that happened. Lovely. So let's come back to the mountain. Heels staying on the floor now as you rise up through the arms. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, come into a deep forward fold, bending the knees as much as you need to. Inhaling, lifting up halfway. And as you exhale, let's take a big stride back with the right leg. And then turn on your toes so you're facing the long edge of your mat. Hopefully you're still facing me now. Beautiful. Now making sure your big toes are level, you might want to slide your heels a little further apart to pigeon toe your feet to find some space in the back. Lovely. Just walk your fingertips forward slightly, lengthening through the back. And start to bend one knee and then the other. So we're just lengthening off through the outer and inner thighs. Again, you can always bring your hands to your thighs if it's uncomfortable to keep the hands on the floor. And then bring the hips to center. Keep the legs straight this time as you walk your hands towards that left foot. So you're draping your body over the left leg. Lovely. And then come all the way back through center. And then take that little walk over to your right foot. So you're turning the body, a little twist going on there to turn over towards the right foot. Beautiful. And slowly, slowly come all the way back through center. And then turning on your feet, you're going to walk the hands round, pivoting on that left heel. So you're coming onto the ball of the back foot. Lovely. Let's sweep that left leg all the way up and back into a three-legged dog. Lovely. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to bring that left knee in towards your chest and then settle your left knee behind left wrist, sliding that right leg back so we're in a pigeon pose. If it's uncomfortable to have that right leg fully extended back behind you, just roll onto your left bottom and bend your right knee, so both knees are bent. Beautiful. If you're with me in pigeon, take a moment to get comfy there, leveling up through the hips. You might want to stay on your hands with your arms straight, or drop down onto forearms. Again, so you're in a sphinx pose with your elbows in line with your index fingers. Beautiful. So right leg is extended. We've got that left knee bent. So we can stay here, or we can add a little twist. So bend your right arm. So you're bringing your right hand to hold your left knee. So your forearms parallel to the top of the mat. And leaning into that right forearm, take the left arm all the way up towards the ceiling. And the option is to keep the arm up or wrap it around the low back. And some of you might even find your left foot. Yeah, that's right, folks, your left foot, not the right foot that's extended back behind you, the one you're sitting on. If that left foot seems to have disappeared somewhere along the practice, just keep the hand on the low back. Beautiful. If you're contorting yourself to find your foot, very gently, let's ease our way back, bring the hands down in front of you, and just straighten the arms, lift the chest, shift the weight into that left bottom, so you're on the inside of that right knee. And for a little quad stretch, see if you can bring your right heel directly in towards your bottom, and just catching hold around the foot or the ankle, you can draw that right heel in, just making sure you're not on the top of the kneecaps, you're on the inside of that right knee. Lovely. And then very slowly, extend that right leg back behind you and roll completely onto that left bottom. So you're in a seated position, left heel to groin, right leg extended. Don't worry if I'm not mirroring you, kind of do as I say rather than as I do. Left heel to groin, right leg extended out on the diagonal. Beautiful. So bringing the back of that right hand onto your shin or your thigh. Let's take a nice reach up with the left arm as you inhale, and exhale, coming over towards that extended leg, trying to keep the chest nice and open, and that left knee relaxed down towards the floor. Beautiful. Coming all the way back up, reaching up with both arms, take an inhale. And as you exhale, bring the hands down to the floor in front of you. You can stay there with the hands quite close to you, or walking forwards, just keeping the sit bones glued down and that right foot pointed up towards the ceiling. So if I kind of walk too far there, I lift my right sit bone up. So I've got to find that balance between wanting to find a stretch, but keeping it that discipline of keeping within where my body can go, rather than letting my ego take over. Lovely, walking the hands back. Let's see if we can revisit that side stretch, maybe with a little bit more. So either back of hand resting on shin or thigh, or bringing your elbow to the inside of that right knee. Left arm lifts up as you inhale. Exhale, reaching over towards your right foot. And if you've got your elbow against your knee, you can gently press against the knee to keep your toes pointing up towards the ceiling and the chest open. That might not be for everybody. Beautiful. Slowly, slowly release. Bring that left hand down behind left hip. Bending your right knee, just bring the shin just behind you. And reaching that right arm in front of your face, up on the diagonal, looking towards that back hand. You can keep the hips down or push the hips forwards. So you're looking towards that left hand, reaching that right arm across. We're getting a nice stretch. Beautiful. And then slowly, slowly lower yourself down. Bring the hands down and find your way back onto all fours. Tuck the toes under as you lift the hips into a downward facing dog. And from your downward dog, have a little walk forwards, coming into that forward fold, feet and knees together. So softening the knees, drop the hips, back of the hands sweep forwards, coming into that chair pose. Again, if you've got your upper arms alongside your ears, making sure that there's space between shoulder and ear, or just lower the arms, lovely. Hands come to the heart, take an inhale. Exhale, let's take that little twist to the right. We've got the option to stay there or separate the arms so the back of that left hand comes to your outer knee or thigh. And just making sure that the knees haven't slid apart, that the knees are parallel and we're not pushing the hips out to the side. Reaching up, beautiful. Slowly, slowly come back through center, hands to heart. Let's come into that mountain, stretching up with the arms, reaching up, up, up. Maybe lifting the heels, so we're just poised and balanced on the balls of the feet. Making sure you don't roll onto the outside edge of the feet. And then lowering the heels, hands to heart as you drop the hips into that chair pose. Lovely, take an inhale. Exhale, we'll twist to the left. Option to keep the thumbs to breastbone, or bring the back of that right hand to the outside of knee or thigh. Reaching up with the left arm again, just checking out that the knees have stayed together. Hips haven't swung out to the side. Beautiful. Hands to heart. Lovely. Let's rise all the way up into that mountain, reaching up, maybe lifting the heels one last time. Again, that little balance at the top. And then lowering the heels and bringing the hands to your heart. So this time we'll be bringing the left leg back. So again, I'm just going to turn to the other side of my mat, so I'll be facing you. So if you want to make any adjustments, I'm sorry if it's a little bit topsy-turvy, but better to be able to see the camera, hey? So let's rise up into mountain, heels stay planted down this time. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, a big sweep forwards and down. Inhale, lifting up halfway. And this time as you exhale, left leg steps back. Turning round so you're facing the long edge of your mat. And again, you can slightly pigeon toe your feet, turning your heels out ever so slightly. Walking fingertips a little further forward so the spine is long. And let's start just by, again, stretching the inner and outer thighs as you shift the weight from side to side. Remember, all of this can be done with your hands above your knees. Having found that little bit of length, inner and outer leg, let's bring the hips back to center. Coming into a little twist, you're going to walk your hands over to the left foot. Right hand stays planted, maybe by your foot or on your foot, or some of you might even take hold around the outside of your left ankle or shin. And let's reach the left arm up towards the ceiling, so we're coming into a twist. So we're drawing the body towards that left leg, reaching the left arm up. Beautiful. Slowly, slowly lower down, walking our way back through center, and then coming over to the right side this time. So left hand might be on the foot or holding around the ankle or shin. So this time it's the right arm that lifts, coming into that little twist. Beautiful. And then slowly, slowly, let's come all the way back through center. So I'm going to turn towards my right foot this time, turning all 10 toes to face the same way. Right leg sweeps all the way up and back into a three-legged dog. Take an inhale. Exhale, bring the knee to your chest, and then bringing that right knee behind your right wrist. That shin is diagonally placed across the mat. Sliding the left leg back, finding your way into pigeon pose, this time with the left knee bent, with the right knee bent, sorry. If that's too much, lean into right bottom and just bend your back knee. So you're in deer pose. You can stay there again just when you've taken a moment to level up through the hips, or drop down onto forearms, elbows in line with index fingers. And again, if you want that little twist, this time you bring your left forearm parallel to the top of the mat, so left hand takes hold of right knee. And turning the chest to the right, we sweep the right arm up towards the ceiling. Option to stay there, or hand comes around the low back, and you might even find your right foot, not the foot behind you, your right foot. I'm not going mad, it just seems that way. Lovely. And then very slowly, if you're in again, that little contorted pose, trying to find your foot, slowly, slowly bringing the right hand and the left hand down so you can lift the chest. And take a little shift of the weight into your right bottom, so you're on the inside of that left knee. And just bring the left heel directly in towards your bottom. So again, we're not on the top of the kneecap. And if it's too much to hold the ankle, you can always just hook your trousers and bring that leg in towards you. A little bit of a quad stretch and a hip stretch there. Lovely. And very slowly, releasing that leg back down. So this time you roll onto that right bottom. So you've got right heel into groin and left leg extended this time. Again, don't worry if I'm not mirroring you. As long as you're on the opposite leg. Right heel in, left leg extended. Back of left hand just rests on your shin or your thigh. Reach up nice and tall through the right arm as you inhale. And take that lovely side stretch as you exhale. Try to keep the chest open, so peeling that top shoulder back. Lovely. Let's come back through center and reach up through both arms this time. Take an inhale. And exhale, bringing the hands down. And keeping, again, that left sit bone grounded. We'll walk the hands forwards, just until you find that tipping point where you feel that you're lifting up through that left bottom. So again, finding that point where ego wants to take over and you want to lie yourself flat, but knowing that if you do, you've lost the essence of that pose. So again, that kind of discipline to just rein in a little bit. If you can lie all the way down, go for it. I can't. And then let's come back to that side stretch, seeing if we can find some more space now. So lifting the chest. This time you might bring your elbow to the inside of that left knee. Rising up with that right arm as you inhale. Back into that side stretch as you exhale. And again, if you're using your elbow against your knee, you can just use that again just to turn the chest up towards the ceiling. Lovely. Coming all the way back up. Right hand comes just alongside right hip. Just bending your left knee. Lovely. Sweeping that left arm in front of the face, reaching up and over on the diagonal. You can stay there. Or look towards right hand as you push the hips up. Lovely. Yeah. Slowly, slowly. Lower your way all the way down. And extend the legs. Give them a little shake out there. Beautiful. So with the legs extended in front of you, just slide your natural cushions out of the way so you're sitting right on top of your sit bones. Little bend in the knee. Let's reach up through the arms, elongate through all four sides of the waist. Take an inhale. And exhale slowly, slowly all the way down into a forward fold. Hands resting wherever is comfortable alongside shins or thighs, tucking the chin in towards the chest, ever so slightly so the back of the neck is long. Again, ego says you want to bring your nose towards your knee, But can you think about lengthening through the back of the body? That might mean doing a little bit less. So we're not rounding the back, we're not straining into the hamstrings. So be as generous as you need to with that bend in the knee. Just closing the eyes. Slowly, slowly rebuild the spine. Bringing your shoulders on top of your hips. Bending your knees, walking your heels in towards your bottom. Ease your way down, down, down onto your back. And then bring your knees in towards the chest. And you might just want to hug your knees in just to decompress through the back. Or again, have a little movement there, or rocking or circling, whatever feels comfortable. Now, if your back has felt a little bit tangy throughout the class, feel free to bring your feet down to the floor, hip width apart, or even wider if that's more comfortable. If the back feels okay, we've warmed up with all of those twists throughout the practice, bring your knees in towards the chest, keep them there as you bring the arms out shoulder height. And what tends to happen when you let go of your knees is they fall away from the body a little bit and your back begins to arch. So see if you can just keep the knees drawn in towards the chest, flattening out through the low back. Take an inhale. And exhale, let's bring the knees all the way over to the right. So the closer the knees are towards the chest, the more twist will bring up through the spine. So when you get there and that feels too much, or maybe the knees don't touch the floor, just slide the heels a little way away from you, taking the knees further away from your chest, dropping the weight into that left shoulder blade. Chest is more or less square to the ceiling, and maybe letting the chin roll down towards your left shoulder. And wherever we feel those sensations of twist, maybe quite benignly if we've got our feet wide apart, or maybe we're feeling that quite deeply up through the spine if the knees are closer towards your chest. See if you can just hold for a few breaths there. No sense of straining or forcing or pinching in the back. Really good to keep the back body healthy by taking it through these twists, all of those movements we do in yoga. Helping to keep our spine malleable, flexible. Bring the head back to center. Really engage through those core muscles as you bring the knees back in towards the chest. And again, give them a little hug. Movement through the back, knowing that you don't have to do the same expression of movement on the other side. So keeping the knees in towards the chest if you wish. As you bring the arms out, just make sure again you've not dropped the knees away from you. So really flatten out through the back. Keep the knees hugged in tight as you tip them over to the left this time. And again, if they don't come down towards the floor and they're hanging uncomfortably in space, just take your feet further away from you until you can comfortably settle into that twist. Weight dropping into left shoulder, right shoulder, maybe chin rolling down towards right shoulder. So it really does depend on how comfortable we are in our back, as to how close we'll have our knees in towards our chest there. Easy breaths wherever we feel that movement through the back body. And again, slowly roll the head through center and use those core muscles to bring the knees back in towards the chest one last time. And then feet to floor, slide the legs out long, reach the arms back behind you. Balance things out, that lovely full body expression of stretch. And again, you can play with flexing feet and then pointing toes, flexing the feet, back body stretching and opening, and pointing toes, front body opening. And then relaxing the feet. And let's bring the arms gently back down alongside you, a little bit of space between your arms and the sides of the body. You can separate your feet, rolling them in and out a few times, and then allow your toes to roll out, your heels in. Or if the back really doesn't like being outstretched, bring your feet to the floor, widening your feet so your inner knees can rest together, much more support for the back. When you make those little adjustments, I always like to tuck my shoulder blades towards one another and slide them down towards the waistband of my trousers, really finding some space across the chest, tucking my chin in ever so slightly to elongate through the neck. So like any posture, Shavasana takes a little bit of time to settle into. Closing the eyes. And maybe before you settle into stillness, you might want to remind yourself of that area of our life that we could do with a little bit of tapas, commitment, discipline. Remembering and reminding that that doesn't necessarily mean a commitment to do more or to push ourselves. For some of us, it might be that commitment to do quite the reverse, to do less, and to offer ourselves a little bit of space. And then just simply bring the mind back to your breath. Growing very quiet. Finding a little bit of peace beneath the surface now. Relaxing your face. Making sure that your jaw isn't clenched and the eyes are very, very softly closed. The body just receives the breath with each inhale and releases the breath as you exhale. Wave of breath and received gratefully as you inhale. And letting go of what's unnecessary and superfluous to leaves as you exhale. You're ready to begin to deepen and lengthen each breath. Maybe reminding yourself of that inner fire. So as you exhale, a little bit of getting to draw navel back and down towards your spine before you inhale and let it relax completely. ready to recommit the rest of the week, whatever it may bring for each and every one of us. Bring some movement into your fingers, your toes, maybe having a nice yawn, stretch through the face. If you need to have a full body stretch, feel free to elongate the arms and the legs. Reacquainting yourself with the space behind you and above you. And then we'll all meet with the knees just hugged in towards your chest one last time. And just noticing whether there's space to the right or to the left of you. Just rolling into that space, rolling onto that side. And then very gently finding your way to a comfortable seated position, which never ever has to be cross-legged. Might be with legs extended or kneeling. And let's bring the hands to the heart, just as we've been doing throughout the practice, and really get the sense of lifting. And you can really get the sense of how that opens up through the chest. It's great psychologically as well, just to open us up rather than slumping forward. So opening up, softening the shoulders, closing the eyes as you bring your chin very gently down towards your thumbs, your fingertips, without the body pitching forwards. So we're sitting up nice and tall. I found these lovely words from a fellow yoga teacher called Donna Foles. They seem particularly relevant at this point in time. And she wrote, "This life, this extraordinary imperfection, this moment just as it is, this is all I'm here to receive. The infuriating, limitless simplicity of day-to-day living holds everything I think I'm missing." Bowing your heads and thanking each other and yourself for committing to that weekly practice. And namaste. Thank you. Let's unmute everybody.